Now, I'm not particularly calling anybody out, but some people, I even would include myself in this, especially in my late teens, early 20s, thought that chasing trends or, having all of these different brands and designers, all of that is what made me more stylish. But honestly, real style isn't about impressing anybody. It's actually just about how you express yourself. You know how there are videos out there where people talk about what they wish they knew in their 20s? Well, this is what I wish I knew about style in my 20s. So yeah, let's get right to it. Point number one, fit over flex. What I mean by that is instead of buying all of these brands, all of these designers, think about fit instead. Having all of these designers, all of these brands, all of these logos does not mean that you are fashionable. I do believe that there are certain designers and some companies that do offer quality pieces, and you do have to splurge to get that quality. But I also believe that there are brands that are affordable that are honestly the same quality as higher end pieces. So I would recommend, instead of focusing on that, focus on fit instead, because if you focus on something that fits you just right, for example, a pair of pants, a $40 pair of pants can honestly look like $100 if it fits just right. Truth be told, no matter how expensive it is, if it doesn't fit right, it's just not gonna look right. Again, learn what flatters your frame, what looks good on you. There are certain things that, maybe aren't as flattering. Point number two, this is something that I honestly have learned throughout the years, is that you don't need as many clothes as you think. I used to have so much clothing on top of things that I purchased for myself, things that I had sent to me from being a content creator. I had so many clothes, and of course I've donated and have given clothes away. If I could have told my younger self, you don't need as many clothes. I used to overshop and overspend money trying to have every single piece, especially being a content creator. I thought man, you have to have every single thing out there, but I'm no, I have to hone in on what started my channel, which is personal style, right? That being said, you don't necessarily need every single piece out there. Even things that were on sale that I was oh yeah, that's on sale, so I just have to have that. But I'm dude, if it's something that you're just gonna wear once, no need. I don't care if it's half off, unless it's something that you will use multiple different ways and different times, and sure, go for it. But if I had to give you solid advice, it would have to be that. And you know what the crazy thing is? I had a ginormous closet, and I don't say that to brag. It's just what it is. With having all of that, I had nothing to wear, which reminds me of the paradox of choice, which is if you have too many options, it's harder to choose, right? And I find it not only more effective, but I find it actually more creative if you have less clothing in your closet and with just solid pieces that you like. There's more creative space in your mind to create good outfits that you actually feel good in, because you're gonna have a capsule wardrobe, as I like to call it. You'll have a capsule wardrobe, pieces that will work, fits right, and that you like. It's not about quantity, it is about quality and honestly clarity. Trust me, a strong rotation will take you further than a cluttered closet ever will. I actually have a few videos lined up on how to build a capsule wardrobe, an actual guide on what you need, even starting from scratch. And I'm not sure if I just said this, forgive me if I did, but the less that you have in your wardrobe, and the more, I guess I can say, the more curated, crafted selection of items that you have, the easier it is to get ready. Point number three, your style will change. Let it. I was always chasing the idea of having a signature style, and I still believe in that. But in my mind, I was thinking, I guess once I had it, I wouldn't let go of it, if that makes sense. Even life, not just particularly in your 20s, but as you evolve, your style should too. Some pieces will stay with you, others will outgrow. That's a good thing. Just let your wardrobe reflect who you are now, not who you were 5 years ago. And if it's something that you still want to, I guess, wear, as I said in the previous video, it's not that deep, it's not that serious, it's just clothing. But if you like something you've worn 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, keep wearing it. I'm just saying, have fun with it and allow your style to evolve, and don't pigeonhole yourself. Try things out and you'll be surprised at some things that you might enjoy wearing. Point number 5 is that trends fade, but presence does not. Sounds a little corny, but it's true. There's always gonna be a new trend on TikTok and on Instagram and social media. Right now, I believe a trend on men's fashion or in men's fashion is the sandals. Flip-flops, right? I've seen that now with a suit or a blazer or a nice jacket, or even a shirt and some trousers and the little I don't know, little strappy sandals. I don't think I can get into that. That's just honest. If you see me wearing those, call me out, because you'll be you literally just you just said you wouldn't. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, if you are trying to chase every single trend, you'll eventually just lose your own sense of style. You end up with a wardrobe full of stuff that doesn't really even feel like you or fit, again, like fit your style. And I know that you have to navigate through this and try different pieces. But for example, speaking from experience, like I used to buy certain pieces that I thought were cool in the moment that were trendy. And I knew deep down that I was only going to wear this maybe once or twice, and it just sits there in my closet. So if you are going to try out different trends that you're unsure of, I would recommend getting something that is a bit more affordable. Like don't splurge on something trendy that is above your budget. Like get something even from, and this is not knocking fast fashion, like that's an entirely different video, but if you're gonna get something that you'll probably only wear once, get a dupe or get something that is not necessarily like a name brand, because I promise you it'll just sit there and you'll be left thinking, why did I purchase this? I used to stand there and be like, do I actually like this, or is it the fact that I'm just seeing it everywhere? So really think about it. And this might seem a bit out there, but truly, like I believe that presence is more important than what you're actually wearing. Like if you have a solid presence about you, that is what is going to make the difference. And I truly believe like that is what makes you stylish. Presence and confidence isn't just about wearing the outfit. It is about showing up like you know who you are. Point number 6, grooming is part of the fit. Come on. Now, I will say like this isn't from experience, although I did have some questionable hairstyle choices, but I would honestly say I was always on top of my grooming. Like my dad actually instilled that in us. Like he was always on top of his grooming and we would see him take care of himself. So I've always been on top of my hygiene and my grooming, and I cannot stress that enough, dude. Like you have to take care of yourself. A good skincare routine, honestly, like some moisturized skin at least, a good haircut, trimmed nails, you guys. Trimmed nails, brother, that is essential. Now, I'm not saying go get a manicure and like have polish on your nails, but I mean, you should look like you care. And if I'm honest with you, that shit gets you laid. No, for real. Point number 7, don't dress to impress. Although people can have some sort of argument by saying, don't lie, you do dress for people, but truly, I really don't. I mean, of course I want to look good, but genuinely, I wear what I want to wear. And that was not always the case. I used to actually care what people thought about what I was wearing, obviously because I enjoyed style, but I also dressed for validation, if I'm being 100%. Sure, I want to look good and I care about how I present myself, but more importantly, and I say this wholeheartedly, like I don't care if people do not like what I'm wearing. All that being said, over time I realized that, you know, authenticity is what stands out. Like people can tell if you're trying too hard. You know what I mean? Again, it's not about chasing approval. It is about wearing what feels best and, you know, just doing you. I get asked sometimes like, who are my fashion inspiration, my style inspos, and honestly, I just like people that have unique, authentic style. And I know that there's no such thing as like a completely original look or an original style, because, and that's another conversation, but we all get ideas from everybody. Like there's no such thing as just an original idea. If you think otherwise, let me know. I'd love to chat, but I do love people that you can just tell that they're comfortable expressing themselves. I really like that. Last point, building relationships with tailors. This goes back to point 1, I think it was, about fit. This is something I started doing as of lately, like the last few years. You'd be surprised, but I guess when I was younger, I thought that tailoring was expensive, and it can be, but if you form relationships with tailors, most of the time they are really kind, and you can get something hemmed for like 13 bucks. For example, these pants that you see on screen were super baggy on me, but they hemmed them in like less than 24 hours. And I believe he charged me like $14. And I had already got those pants, I believe, on sale, and they fit me like a glove, and it just made a difference. So yeah, those small little adjustments, even if something's a bit too long, they can fix it for you, and it will just make a huge difference in the end. And that pretty much sums up today's video. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. And if you have any thoughts or something else that you want to add to the video, leave it down below in the comments. I would love to chat. Hopefully you have something you can take away from this. And style is always evolving, just like we as human beings are constantly learning, constantly changing. So at the same time, do not take these like videos too seriously. Like this doesn't like define who you are as a person, but if you are interested in this, again, I'm sure this will resonate with you. That being said, I'm gonna log off. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Adios.